What's up, nerds? We are your hosts. I am Jake.
And I'm Chad.
This week we are sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We're also sponsored by Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce.
We are going to be talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Then we're also going to be talking about The Little Mermaid. So, let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd Podcast. Nerd.
Welcome back to the All Things Nerd Podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Chadley, how was your week?
Well, it was pretty good, all things considered. And also, we just hope that everyone had a good Memorial Day weekend, long weekend, because we did not have an episode last week because we decided to hang out with family and friends. And that's what you and I did. We hung out over that weekend. We grilled out, had a couple cigars. This week I played some D&D, and then the scrape plate on my car broke off and is hanging on by a thread, and it's loud and obnoxious and it's super not great. But not that big of an issue once I can actually get it into a shop to get underneath it and just get it removed, because I need an oil change anyway. So I'm just gonna be like, hey, take it off and don't put it back on because it's only half there. What about you? How was your week?
Not great, Cotton.
But I sure do like
you,
pumpkins.
you know this because you had to rescue me. My car died on the side of the fucking freeway in like 90-degree weather. I was just roast. I mean, by the time you picked me up, I had like my shirt off and just like dying on the side of the road. But luckily, it was a very stupid fix. It was under warranty. It was my stupid alternator. Lasted like 6 months for some dumb reason.
Yeah.
Put a new one in for free yesterday. Runs like a champ again. So all is good in the hood.
Word.
But yeah, it was just funny because I called you to rescue me, and then as you were coming to rescue me, your
Scrape
car
plate
fucked up.
just snapped off.
Just kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, it was a good time. Excellent. Well, before we get into anything, really, if our listeners like what we're doing and want to support us, you can always give us your money, which would be awesome, at buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. Just a great way to support the podcast on a monthly basis. You get all kinds of bonus, extra sneak peeks, as well as just a way to talk with us directly, which is pretty cool. You also get some exclusive merch that no one else can buy off of the web store. So it's a fun way to support us. And yeah, we'll be posting more and more there as more and more things come from us.
We got some new stuff coming up per my request.
Yeah.
Some summer like mesh trucker hats. So
Yeah.
I definitely want, like, you
Yeah.
showed them to me yesterday, and I was like, "Yep, want that." So, how much are those, by the way?
On the web store, I think they're going to be like $20, 15,
That's not
20
bad at all.
bucks.
Cool.
Yeah, well, I'll have to double check what it is because we try and cover most of our shipping costs just
gonna
in
have
the
to get a
direct
couple.
cost. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
They're dope.
sorry, got sidetracked. But yeah, give us your money, subscribe, share with your friends, please.
Yeah, we love you. In some nerd news, there's been some official castings for the upcoming live action How to Train Your Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Mason Thames has been cast to play Hiccup.
Mm-hmm.
He might know him from the movie Black Phone.
Good movie, underrated horror movie. Not really, more like a thriller. I don't think it fits in the horror genre, but good movie. He's the main kid. I liked it. I liked him. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. And
And
then
then
who was cast
uh,
as Astrid?
Astrid is Nico. You didn't write it down here for me. Nico, what's her last name?
Nico Parker.
Parker. God, it's an easy one to remember too. Fuck. Nico Parker, you would know her from The Last of Us. She plays Joel's daughter that gets murdered.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Sorry.
If you didn't know that, it's kind of like a pinnacle character part of who
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal's character is in the show and who Joel is in the game.
Mm.
But yeah, and then what's really cool, this isn't a casting, but Dean DeBlois.
We think that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah,
DeBlois.
DeBlois
DeBlois.
is the director, but this is his directorial debut, which is pretty sweet.
I'm super excited about this because I love, love, love. It's my favorite. Oh, it's my favorite like Disney animated, like
Non-Disney.
non-superhero
Yeah. And
movie.
it's
Obviously, the
DreamWorks.
Spider-Verse, which we'll get into later, is clearly my fucking favorite. But
Yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon, the trilogy is fucking fantastic. And I mean, you just watched it
Yeah.
per my request. I
Yeah.
was like, dude, you gotta watch these movies. They're so good. And they are. They're heartfelt. They're fun. They're sad. They're action-packed. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to see this in live action. Obviously, the dragon will not be live action.
Why not? Game of Thrones did it.
Yeah. I am also curious. I will be really mad if they make Toothless look stupid. I'll be super mad.
Yeah.
Don't just learn from your mistakes, movie world. Sonic. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, just make it accurate right off the bat.
To the source material and just make it look real.
Yeah. No. But the casting is awesome. I'm excited to see what this new director has in store. I mean, this will be cool. I'm really
Yeah.
excited about it.
And then
We also have.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go.
Nope.
No,
What?
we were going the same way, so
oh.
you go.
We also have a semi-confirmed. It's kind of like a halfway boner. It's like a halfway confirmation.
It's like
is
a
what I meant to say. it's
Sorry, Mom.
it's a halfie. It's not confirmed, but it's heavily speculated that we have the cast for the Fantastic Four movie, which is, I'll say the first two. You can go with the other two.
Yeah.
Cool. The two big ones, or the main ones, I should say, are Margot Robbie as Sue Storm and Kylo Ren as no, I'm sorry, Adam Driver as Mr. Fantastic, or Reed Richards, if you will. Shut up, dog. It's very exciting. I think it's great casting. I really love Adam Driver. Or you do the other two, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Paul Mescal is rumored to have been cast as Johnny Storm. It's kind of a newcomer, young dude from Ireland. He was in The Lost Daughter. I never saw that. He was in Normal People. Never saw that either.
I looked at his wiki. I haven't seen anything that he's been in.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, but
Yeah. And then David Diggs to play the Thing.
I was rolling my eyes at my dog, not David Diggs. Sorry.
Yeah.
My dog is in puppy jail right now, and she is throwing a temper tantrum. Hopefully, it doesn't show up on here
I'm
at
not
all.
hearing it.
Okay, I can hear it, and it's pissing me off. But yeah, and David Diggs was just in.
Across the Spider-Verse. And we'll get to that in a little bit with who he played or voiced.
Casting. What are your thoughts on casting for this? If this is confirmed, actual casting.
So supposedly the offers have gone out. We don't know if the actors have accepted or not. Adam Driver, yes, I love Adam Driver.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, I kind of wanted him almost to be cast as Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
just because we know that from behind a mask he can be menacing, have that intimidating voice,
Hmm.
but he's still a great actor, so I'm very okay with him being Reed Richards. Don't know anything about Paul Mescal, but he looks to be about the right age.
I'm gonna kill her.
Uh,
She's so distracting
D-
right now.
David Diggs, obviously, awesome actor, and
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna be mostly CGI anyways, so
Yeah. Be a voice acting kind of gig.
yeah. And I mean,
I'm
like, I like Margot Robbie. She just wouldn't have been my first pick,
yeah.
but
See, so that's how I feel about yes, Margot Robbie, not my first pick. They
I'm
were
sure
just
she'll
like,
do good.
they're like, who's a hot blonde we could put in, yeah.
That
She works.
her name pulls too, so
Yeah, it'll be good.
yeah.
Um,
I trust
and
Marvel in their writing, so
yeah, and I don't know, I don't have anything against this Paul Mescal guy. I've never seen anything he's been in. And I don't mean that in a mean way. Now that I know who he is, I will check out some of his stuff because that's what I did with Robert Pattinson when we found out he was gonna be Batman. I was like, no. And then I watched like some stuff that wasn't Twilight, and I was like, all right, he is okay. So, uh, so I'll check out some Paul Mescal stuff. My number one choice was, and I'm fucking did not prepare to even say this, is God, he's from tell him that joke, I got it right here. I'm gonna
uh huh.
what's the name of the show? Give me 1 second. We can always edit too.
I Well, my first pick for Johnny, but he would have been a little bit too old if they're gonna go with the Peter Parker Johnny Storm like friendship. Was gonna be Dacker Montgomery from Stranger
Yeah,
Things.
yeah.
That's who I wanted.
I I wanted Rudy, and I'm sorry if I say his last name wrong. Rudy Pankow. He is in the Netflix series Jesus Christ.
Don't you have it right in front of you?
I have him right in front of me. Outer Banks. Jeez.
Oh, right.
He's in the Outer Banks show. He plays JJ. He's also in Uncharted with Tom Holland, which I thought was cool. He plays
Yeah.
his older brother, and I was like, man, he would. If you've seen Outer Banks, I have. I enjoy it for like a teen drama TV show. It was fun. He plays a very cocky, like teenage kid. I just was like, that would be amazing casting for Johnny Storm. Plus, he's blonde. Him and Sue are supposed to be brother and sister. It would have made sense with Margot Robbie, but whatever. What do I know? Uh, I am not upset about this Paul Mescal guy. I just gotta do some nerd watching and check out some stuff he's been in. But my first choice was Rudy Pankow. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Anyways,
there's still rumors that Cillian Murphy might still be offered the role of Victor Von Doom. We'll see.
I'm not
I
upset about it. I don't know if that wouldn't be my first choice, but
Yeah.
no. I think it'd be cool. And some people who hopefully don't listen to our podcast would probably be upset about it. But I think like African American Victor Von Doom would be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who yet, but
Yeah.
I'd be really okay with that.
Yeah, I think that'd be sweet.
Yeah. Anyways,
Well,
tell us about sponsor number one.
okay.
I don't have any of the stuff in front of me. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Because they've heard us talk about this for years now. It is Ray's Energy Drinks. Great energy drink with 0 sugar, 0 calories, and 0 crash. If that's not your thing, they've got like protein powder, supplements, cake in a cup, all sorts of stuff, and some plant-based options as well, which is really cool. So listen up, learn how to save 15%. We'll be right back with you to talk about The Little Mermaid. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Ray's Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with 0 crash. Ray's Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful yet sustained energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, and powered by their Refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
All right, nerds, we are going to talk about The Little Mermaid now and still playing in theaters. Fucking goddamn it, this movie was good. Spoiler alert before we get actually into it here. 3, 2, 1, you had enough time. Okay.
Plus,
God,
the
it was
animated
so
movie
good.
came out, what, like 75 years ago? 60 years
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah, I know, but still. That's shit we grew up on, you
Yeah.
know? Like, there was a lot of, when we were in line to get, like, popcorn and shit, there was, like, people, like, more people our age, like, than there were, like, kids. You know what I mean? Not that kids go to the movie by themselves, but, like,
Yeah.
the people in front of us were, like, God, I don't even remember what they said. They said something like, we were talking about it, because Nicole's like, I'm so excited, and blah, blah. And the girl, like, and her boyfriend in front of us, who were probably, like, our age, like, turned around and, like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, this is what we grew up on. Fuck these kids, you know? Like,
It's like going in to see, like, when Toy Story 3 came out. I still haven't seen Toy Story 4, but when Toy Story 3 came out, like, I went to the theaters, like, opening weekend, and I was like, fuck all these kids. This is for me.
yeah. You also did that with this movie, did you not?
I went by myself. Only I gave it a week because I figured that there would not be as many kids, and I went like midday.
Mm.
Fucking mistake. There were so many kids that got up so much, and like I sat in the front row, you know, so it wouldn't be like weird to like be in the middle of the theater like alone watching a kids movie.
Yeah.
So many kids just like running back and forth in front of me, and I was like, fuck.
There was a little girl a couple of rows in front of us that was like, every time a song came on, she was like on her feet, like singing along with the movie. It was adorable. I wasn't upset about it. It was very cute.
That
But it
does
was,
sound
yeah.
really cute. I think by like the third song, I'd be like, okay, I get it.
She
Sit
wasn't
down.
like overpowering the song. It wasn't that big of a deal. You
Oh,
couldn't really hear her. You could just like see her. And Nicole and I just kept pointing at her. I'm like, oh, there she goes. You know, like,
that is actually quite adorable then.
yeah,
There
yeah.
was one kid, must have been like toddler age, like way towards the back of the theater, probably because their parents were like, we know that they're going to talk during this movie. Like, let's sit as far away from people as possible. And there was just a couple of times, like, when Ursula, you know, was like cackling or talking to herself, then it cuts away and it's just like quiet for a second. And then the kid would be like, oh, I don't like her. And I was just like, oh, I love it.
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. So speaking of Ursula, Melissa McCarthy, holy fucking shitballs, you killed it as Ursula. Perfect casting,
100%.
perfect casting. It was so good. Uh, Halle Bailey, not to be confused with Halle
Halle
Berry.
Berry.
She killed it. God, and I think from this movie, I'm sure she's been in stuff prior to this. I don't
Hmm.
know what it is because I'm a terrible fan, but uh, I definitely have a new crush, like coming out of this movie.
Yeah.
Like she's so fucking pretty. Like, holy hell. What
And
the
like
hell?
her singing voice like gave me fucking chills, man.
Yeah. Yeah, she was great. She was real good. Real good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they added a couple of like new songs.
There was at least two that I'm aware
Yeah.
of.
The one that
Yeah.
was actually more like musical just felt like a musical number from like a Broadway play.
Mm.
But there was one part that you pointed out, and I could not notice how ridiculous it was.
It wasn't that ridiculous. It's something that especially musicals, especially like cartoon musicals like do.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like that big of a deal. But it was just like it was only funny because Nicole and I did it at the same time without like talking about it. And then I was like, it was funny because this. And then I told you, and then you were like,
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
ahead, go
Prince
on.
Prince Eric gets his own solo musical number. Uh, and it's actually a really good like musical piece. But he's talking about how he wants to go out on uncharted waters looking for the woman that saved his life, aka Ariel, but he doesn't know that yet. And he's like running along the shoreline, like on the rocks as waves are crashing in, and then the next scene, mid musical line, he's on a boat.
I'm on a boat.
Everybody look at me because I'm sailing on a boat. But yeah, it was just kind of funny. But the song itself was freaking awesome.
Yeah. And I will say, what's his name? You didn't write it down, Chad.
Oh, Jonah Hauer King?
Jonah Howard King. Did you write it down? You did write it down. I'm the worst.
Yeah.
Uh, Jonah Howard King, the guy who plays Prince Eric. Uh, I personally think he would make a fantastic Superman. I know that there's casting for uh, James Gunn's Superman Legacy right now, and there are a couple names that we've talked about in our 2 weeks ago in our last episode. But this kid looks like Superman.
He's like, of the two main people that are in major talks and have major speculations, he's like a blend of them in looks.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
still has the very square jaw, but is still very young looking, dimples.
ridiculous dimples on both sides of his. He's a very handsome man,
Yeah.
bastard. But yeah,
What a dick. Stop being
what a
so
j-
pretty.
yeah. uh, yeah. I mean, he just looked. I literally like the second he was on screen, I literally was like, because I didn't know anything about him until watching this movie, and I literally like leaned over to Nicole and I was like, Superman? And she was like, yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. And then I told you about it, and then you went and watched it, and I was like, what are your thoughts? And you're like, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, James Gunn. Where are you on this shit?
I don't want a lot, just my 2%. Actually, for a movie, that's a lot of money. I'll settle for 1%. We'll split 1%.
It was a lot of good. The music numbers were really good, a lot of fun, very colorful. I found myself singing along quite a bit. After the movie was over, I was trying to embarrass my girlfriend, and I was singing "Kiss the Girl" very loudly when we were walking out of the theater. It's so good.
It was.
La 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 ooh la la. Yeah, it's such a good song. And uh, it was a lot of fun. I mean, God, everybody in the movie just killed it.
Yeah, it was.
Uh,
And just visually, it looked so good.
and just for like a little bit of a tie-in, David Diggs, who is rumored to play the Thing in the Fantastic Four reboot, voiced Sebastian in this movie.
That's right.
Yeah, which is cool.
I messed up earlier by saying that he voiced someone in Across the Spider-Verse, but that's someone else that we're going to mention.
Didn't. Oh, it wasn't a crest.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Who voiced Hobby, but we'll get to that later.
Hobie.
Hobie. Sorry.
You mixed Dobby and
No,
Hobie.
I'm also watching Star Wars Rebels, and one of the fighter pilots is, fighter name is Hobby.
Ah,
He's Wedge's wingman before
Gotcha.
Wedge and Skywalker. But
Gotcha.
yeah,
Anyways, if you listen to our podcast and you don't care about the race thing, which you shouldn't, because come on. And if you do, then get the fuck out of here.
yeah.
I would run and not walk to the theater and go watch this movie. It's so fucking good. I'm a damn near 36-year-old man, and I had goosebumps like 80% of the movie. It's so fun.
We're like the not annoying Disney adults.
Yeah.
You know?
Ariel, when I was a little kid, Ariel was my first crush ever. Before
Mine was Jasmine.
Jasmine?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Stay away from my cousins. I'm just kidding. Okay. Yeah, Ariel was my first crush ever, and man, seeing live action Ariel, like
It was awesome.
I said, another crush. New crush coming out for this movie is Halle Bailey.
Yeah, Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey. What's up? I'm Jake. I have a girlfriend. We have a kid on the way.
So, like, don't what's up back.
Yeah. But just know what's up.
But also, what's up?
Mm.
Any...
A lot of
Oh.
I mean, I was just gonna ramble off some names here. We have Javier Bardem as
King
King
Triton.
Triton, which was awesome.
Yeah.
We already said Ursula, Melissa McCarthy, Flounder. I didn't know until today, actually. It is the kid from Good Boys. If you've ever seen Good Boys, it's like the younger version of Superbad.
Yeah.
Right, he's like the main kid. Jacob Tremblay. Yeah, whatever.
I don't know how to say it, but
Yeah, he does the voice of Flounder. We already said David Diggs is the
Aquafina
voice.
is
Yeah,
Scuttle.
Aquafina is Scuttle. Also, like, should we touch on it? I think we should. If you're upset about the color of Ariel's skin in this movie, first and foremost, don't listen to our podcast anymore.
Yeah.
But secondly, a lot of people who like were upset about that, like, did not give a shit that like Scuttle was gender swapped. And not that that should matter, and I'm not saying it should. Obviously, we love that.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
I'm just saying, like, people are just they're just racist, and it's
You're just
dumb.
yeah, you're making up bullshit excuses to show your racism.
Yeah. Aquafina playing Scuttle, very funny,
Yeah.
comic relief. Yeah, it was good. I
And
mean,
that was one of the other additional songs that got added. Her and
oh yeah, the rap song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her and Sebastian like do a little rap.
Mm.
It was funny.
I liked
Yeah.
it. The only thing that they changed from I almost said comic, from the cartoon to the movie and I don't know enough about the original like story to.
Oh, it's so
Different.
fucked up.
I know about fucked up stuff, but there's one thing that they do in this movie, the live action movie, that they didn't do in the cartoon, and that's that Ariel forgot that that she met Eric. She
No,
doesn't-
that she needs to kiss him.
That's what it was. She doesn't remember that she has to kiss him. And in the cartoon version of the movie, that's not a thing.
Oh,
I mean, it's a thing that they have to kiss,
yeah.
but the memory loss part of it isn't a part of it in the cartoon.
I think that's part of the original story.
Yeah. The original story is brutal because it's not only, obviously, she lost her voice, but.
Well, it's because they cut out her tongue.
Is that it?
In the
Oh,
original
nice.
story, yeah.
And then every step she takes, every move she makes is
Ursula's watching you.
well, yeah, but it's supposed to feel like she's stepping on knives, so it's very painful for her to have legs,
Mm-hmm.
In general, and but super fucked up.
And then also, in the original story, when the kiss doesn't happen by sunset on the third day and she turns back into a mermaid, she's on land, and then the townspeople kill her.
Yeah.
So, thank you, fucked up
Sushi.
fairy tales.
I was like, sushi.
Yeah.
Sorry. Woo! Yeah.
And tell them
Very
about.
fun. We've spent enough time on this, right?
Yep. Tell them
Yeah.
about our second sponsor, Jake.
Sponsor number 2 is Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on practically anything. Listen up, we'll tell you more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. All right, friends. Now we want to talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It's now in theaters, and this is your spoiler warning. Give you 3, 2, 1. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. Holy shit. First things first, I loved Into the Spider-Verse so much that it was easily one of my favorite Spider-Man movies of all time.
One of my favorite Marvel movies of all time.
Yeah.
This is so fucking good.
This was better.
I remember when I saw the first trailer for Into the Spider-Verse, I didn't know that it was a movie. I thought it was a fan-made, like, animated trailer. And then I found out like a month later it was a movie that was coming out, and I was like, oh, son of a bitch. That looks so good. And I saw it, blown away. Saw this movie, blown away even more. It was, like you said, it's...
Yeah, when I saw the first trailer for Into the Spider-Verse, I was like, that could either be really good or really dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And also it didn't help that I saw the first trailer for it when I went and saw Venom in theaters. So I was already let down by what Sony was doing to Spider-Man that wasn't MCU related. And then they like released like an actual like scene or something like that later, and I was like, oh, this looks so good. Okay.
The only thing I'll say about this movie is that you have to keep in mind that this movie is the ramp up. It's the first half of a bigger movie. It's the part 1 of a part 2 finale. So you have to keep that in mind when you watch it, because there are parts that are slow. Even though it is action-packed and a lot of fun, it's very funny, heartfelt. I mean, there's a shit ton of like great things about it. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing about it. I'm just saying for some people who are twats about it, you might be like, oh, it was slow and boring. Like, suck a dick, whatever. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I didn't feel that way at all about it.
I didn't either, but one of the people I went to the movie with complained about it, and I was like, "What the fuck up?"
Yeah.
We won't say their name on here, but
I know who it is.
You know who it is.
Dumb 8-year-old. I'm just kidding.
It's funny because that's not who it was, and you know that's not who it was.
That's why
what
I said
makes it funny. Yeah. Oh, we're funny, damn it.
No, it was great. What I really liked
insane.
actually was that it starts off from Gwen's perspective, which was cool.
Yeah.
And then we get introduced to the Spot, who is going to kind of be the
main
villain. I'm now, as I'm thinking about it, I am anticipating, a bigger Jaws moment going forward for part 2. But I mean, he was just like goofy.
At first.
Yeah, and then he. I mean, it's his origin story,
Yeah.
but it, man, shit, this was so good. There's a lot of cameos as well. I mean, let's just start with Miguel O'Hara. I mean, voiced by Oscar Isaac. We knew that he was going to be in this both from the trailers, but also from the end credit scene of the
The
first one.
first one. Yeah. Yeah.
So fucking sweet, though.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac. I mean, just rattle them off. I mean, go for it. Go ahead.
Well, we get to see live action Andrew Garfield
Mm-hmm.
and Tobey Maguire. They're
Twice.
twice. They're like archived footage.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't come back and do any sort of like motion capture or like lines or
One of the
anything like that. But
one of the cool things, sorry to interrupt, is that in that scene where they're showing like the Spider-Verse and then Miguel's like, that's a stupid name. We call it ma ma ma. Or
which is
whatever.
just like a
Elongated
scientifically,
version of yeah.
technically right description of a Spider Verse.
But when they showed the Spider-Verse branching off, it is the same branch off from the Loki series where they're showing the timelines like branching off. It's that white light with the branches like coming off of it, and then it branches off into like a spider web,
Yeah,
and then each web has like a different whatever. But it was a very cool, like subtle tie-in to the MCU. I thought that was really
yeah.
fucking cool. Yeah,
Another cool tie-in to the MCU was Donald
that
Glover.
nerd. Oh, that yeah.
Oh
I thought you
yeah,
were gonna say that nerd from Earth, whatever, with
yeah.
Doctor Strange and
Doctor
that nerd
Strange and
from.
that nerd from Earth 1999 referencing No Way Home.
Yeah,
But
that was pretty funny. But yes,
that
Donald
was
Glover,
fun.
go for it.
Yeah, Donald Glover uh, in Prowler armor. He's been captured because he got transported into like the wrong universe, probably.
Kind of like the same way that in Nowhere, No Way Home. I almost said Nowhere Home.
Yeah,
No Way Home. Those people unwillingly got transported to that universe because something was disrupting the timeline. So
yeah,
that's what's happening in this movie is that some of these villains and heroes were like getting transported to a different timeline.
yeah.
Anyways.
But it was cool because if you go back to uh, Homecoming, Spider-Man: Homecoming, when Peter looks up Aaron Davies, who is the Prowler and Miles' uncle. It's very blurry on the screen, but if you have a bigger screen or you pause it and like actually look at it,
I
it
think it's
shows
actually
that his
deleted. That scene is actually
a deleted
not
scene.
it. It's not actually in the movie. In the movie, you just catch him. They just show Spider-Man catching him and whipping him to the trunk. But in the deleted scene, it shows that he does like research on who to
Yeah,
track down for finding the bigger thing, and it shows Aaron Davies, and then it says alias the Prowler.
yeah.
But that's not in the actual movie.
Oh,
Or
it's
maybe it's in like an extended cut or something like that,
oh,
but
okay.
it's not in the no. So, but yes, you're right.
Yeah,
That is what it is. Yeah.
but it's just
Yeah.
cool to actually see him, and he like recognizes Miles just as looking slightly different than his actual nephew Miles,
Hmm.
which is cool because like he sees
Yeah.
him and like does a double take and kind of like looks at him
Yeah.
like you're my
It
nephew.
was cool. It
Yeah,
was cool. Yeah. Cuz I think even in Spider-Man Homecoming when he does do that and you see Spider-Man Tom Holland Spider-Man like put
yeah,
his hand to the trunk of the car. And he's like, "Man, you can't leave me like this." And he's like, "It'll dissolve in about an hour or two." And but before he says that, he says, I don't want those kind of weapons around here. I got a nephew in this neighborhood,
Yeah,
alluding to Miles Morales, which is really cool.
yeah,
And now, since the success of these movies, they are working on a live action. It was just announced like a few days
yeah.
ago.
That
They're working on a
Miles,
live action
it,
Miles Morales.
and it's
Yeah.
presumably going to be in the MCU,
I
but
hope so because Sony sucks at
yeah,
it.
unless
They're
they,
great at animated movies.
yeah, unless they really are going to start back up with the Amazing Spider-Man and let Miles be a part of that. But I'd rather have him be in the MCU.
I want. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you. I would rather have him in the MCU, but I would love some more Andrew Garfield Spider-Man,
Oh yeah, and it's rumored
please,
that that's happening. It
because they
isn't
did
confirmed.
yeet Venom out of was it Nowhere Home? No Way Home? Damn it! Why do I keep doing that?
I don't know, but
Uh,
yes. But a little piece of the symbiote stayed,
yeah, yes, that was cool too.
and supposedly, not that I care that they're making a Venom 3. Um,
There was that scene.
yeah, and supposedly Venom 3 is going to do something with the multiverse.
Well, did you not catch the scene in Across the Spider-Verse? The Venom scene? Really?
Maybe I didn't.
Oh, buddy. The
Oh,
when this
way to
when
be
the
condescending.
oh, buddy. Okay, buddy.
Not your buddy,
When
guy.
when the Spot is like traveling around and he goes into that supermarket and it's the Asian
Oh,
lady.
oh yeah.
That's yeah, it's the
I did notice that.
no, you didn't.
Yes,
No,
I
you
did
didn't.
because
No, you
it's
didn't.
also live action and it's very much. Is it Mrs. Kim?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nicole hasn't seen any of the Venom movies, and I envy her because they're terrible. But I was like, that's from Venom, and she was like, yeah, okay.
Cool. That really helps my life be better.
It's a really big bummer because I love Tom Hardy, but those
Mhm.
I don't know why, but those movies are just so bad.
Because
They're so bad.
they don't let Venom start off by being just like this ruthless, villainous monster.
It's not just that. I mean, the writing, the dialogue, everything is really, really bad.
Yeah.
We saw the second one in New York together,
It could have been a
and
made-for-TV movie. It was 90 minutes long, man.
it was so fucking bad. Grant, I was hungover the whole time. And,
we
like
we both were.
ba basically like thinking about jumping the railing in case I needed to throw up. But I don't know if that was my hangover or the movie. It was really bad. It was worse than the first one, and the first one was terrible. And then they
Yeah.
made Morbius, which is arguably worse than
Oh,
both of them.
arguably, it's definitely worse.
So yeah. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, we
Across the
got
Spider-Verse
really
is
off
so good.
topic. What was your favorite cameo, other than the fact that we already mentioned, like Don Glover, obviously Miguel O'Hare,
My favorite
Garfield
cameo?
McGuire, or not cameo, but like your favorite iteration of Spider-Man?
Mm, you go first.
Okay, so I
Did
have
I already tell you and then I forgot?
no.
Okay.
Uh,
It's like,
I have
is
two.
this scripted?
One that's just absolutely ridiculous and hilarious, and then one that was just enjoyable. The one that's ridiculous and hilarious was that they brought in the Spider-Man popsicle. If you know, you know. Like the horribly made popsicle. They even reference it in the first Into the Spider-Verse. With Chris Pine's Peter
Yeah.
Parker talking about, oh, they even made like a
I'm Chris Pine. This
that
is
they
the
even-
same. This is the equivalent of the Ninja Turtle popsicle that you could get from the ice cream truck. They made a Spider-Man one as well.
It
And if
never
you
looked
ever-
like Spider-Man.
They also had a Sonic the Hedgehog one, and exactly if you've ever had one, the eyes were in different places. The color never matched up. It was terrible.
Yeah. But you
Also,
literally
if you never lived in a neighborhood that had an ice cream truck, then you're too bougie for this podcast.
Yeah, fair. Um, and then my other favorite one was that they brought in the Insomniac Spider-Man, or the PlayStation Spider-Man,
Mhm.
which was voiced by Yuri, who does the voice in the game as well, which was cool.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of lines. He says like two or three things, but
I assume that and it's an assumption. I assume everybody that cameoed did their own voices. I know for a fact that the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon was I don't know the actor's name who voiced him, but he was kind of the shorter cartoon, and he had like the webs under his arms. Like
mhm.
that was actually him. That was pretty cool. Uh, I think my favorite. Oh. I thought the cat was pretty funny. I don't. Definitely wasn't my favorite, but it was pretty
The
funny.
cat and the T Rex and the horse were all hilarious.
I think my favorite, and he wasn't really a cameo, would have to be Hobie, because I didn't think that I was gonna like Hobie, which is Spider Punk. That's his name. I didn't think I was gonna like Hobie going into the movie because I thought he was gonna be like Miles's kind of like competition for Gwen,
Oh
like
yeah,
romantic competition. And he actually ended up being a very big supporter of Miles.
yeah,
It was really I actually really liked him quite a bit. That's
yeah,
probably my favorite one.
yeah. That
And
one was good.
he's very like fuck the establishment, blah blah blah, and then Miles would be like, "But you're in a group of spider people," and he's like, "I don't like rules, bruh."
Yeah.
It's
Ironically, I
still
am.
funny. But then when he like quit, he like showed Miles how to escape out of, Miguel's thing. He's like, use your whole palm, not just your fingers. And then he like shows him. He's like, palms. And he
Yeah,
goes, by the way, I quit. Like
yeah,
just disappears into the. I thought I really enjoyed Hobie. He was cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Riley was pretty good too, voiced by Andy Samberg.
hmm
Just
The Scarlet Spider.
yeah, who's just he's a clone,
hmm
but just hilarious because he's like so self-deprecating and like over the top dramatic emo like oh why
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and just Andy Samberg doing that
Well,
just made it so
he was
great.
also the cool thing about him was that the way he talked was scripted Spider-Man. So like if you were the person reading a comic and you were like Spider-Man leans against the wall and you know
Hmm.
in an upset manner, that's what he would do, but he would say it at the same time.
Yeah.
He's like looking at the window intensely. You know what
Yeah,
like that it
he
was very
like was
funny like
self-narrating.
yeah, exactly. It was his version of Spider-Man was that you were reading what he was doing, but he was like actually narrating himself. I thought that was pretty cool.
and
It was clever. It was
and
clever.
speaking of, you know, how you would read something on a comic, you brought something up that I think Nicole pointed out to you.
Miguel?
Yeah, about
Okay.
Miguel.
Okay. Let me say this. Let me say this. Miguel might be, and this is no surprise because I am a fan of villains. Uh he might be my actual favorite character in the movie
Hmm.
because he thinks he's right, and that makes him dangerous.
And also go for the legs.
Thank you. Uh, yeah, no. So Miguel starts. We know that Miguel O'Hara. He's Spider-Man 2099. He's like a venomous, vampire-ish kind of Spider-Man. He has fangs that there's venom and whatever. Uh, he. Where is my train of thought going with? Okay, so sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second.
You're fine.
Um, he starts out very blue. His costume is very blue. The characteristics on his face are very light, and uh, he seems like a good guy, you know. And this if you haven't seen, we've talked about the movie on this podcast, the movie Unbreakable with Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson. It's a M. Night Shyamalan movie. The movie is about comic books. And anyways, there's a part in the movie, and I made Nicole watch these movies like not even that long ago. All three of them, Split, and Glass. Unbreakable, Split, Glass. They're tied
Mm-hmm.
together. There's a part in there where Samuel L. Jackson describes what a villain in comic books look like. And he says you can tell the definition of a villain in a comic book because their features are sharper. They have like things that hang off their costume, like that are like sharp. They're always sharp. As where like a superhero, they don't have that. They have like just their muscly physique and like a happy face, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, so I made her watch that movie like a month or two ago, whatever. We go see this movie, and after the movie, she's talking to me about it, and she blew my mind with this observation that she made that as the movie goes further and Miguel is getting more and more pissed off at Miles, Miguel's features change. His costume gets darker. It's not a like a light blue anymore, and his features on his face, his costume, his shoulders, everything gets sharper, darker. You can see like scars on his face more. Like it was,
His
and
eyes get his eyes get darker.
when I said it to you, I literally today before we recorded,
Yeah.
I told you her observation of it, and you were like,
Ha, nerd.
"Holy
No,
shit!"
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
hey,
But
you spent enough time with me, like,
it's hard not
yeah.
to. No, it blew my mind because that's exactly what happens.
And
It
I
just
didn't even pick up on it.
neither did
I was
I.
like, I mean, I realized he looked like meaner, but I didn't observe the sharper, like. And after she said it, I was like, "Holy shit, you were so right!" Like,
Yeah,
good job, babe. Like,
we picked
yeah.
up on the surface of like, oh, he's more angry, he's
Mhm.
meaner, but the way that they do it is classic comic book. Sharper lines, darker features.
Which just goes to show the artistry that goes into these fucking movies is so good.
The first Into the Spider Verse was so amazing because on top of different characters, like different Spider people from different universes had their own like animation style.
Hmm.
Even Spider Ham was very cartoony. Looney Tunes. You know, Spider Man Noir, all of that, but also just like they played it. There's different parts of the movie where it's played at your standard 30 frames per second with the drop frame, but there's
Hmm.
other times where it was at I think 18 or 20 frames a second, so it looked more like a flip book. So
Hmm.
it looks more like comical because the eye, if things are less than 24 frames per second, your eye notices individual frames happening,
Yeah.
which was just cool. So it's
I'm
like played back at two different frame rates.
I'm curious if excuse me, get the hiccups. Ugh. I'm curious if Nicolas Cage will be in the third one because they do show uh Noir Spider-Man
Hmm.
at the end, but he doesn't have any lines.
And same, see, I'm sure Nicolas Cage would come back for that. The one that I'm interested in actually, and it sounds so dumb, is Spider Ham, because
Oh,
that's
Peter Porker.
yeah, because that's John Mulaney,
Yeah,
and
love John Mulaney. Yeah.
I do too. But he's been up and down, over the past few years with
Mental health stuff.
mental
and-
health,
yeah.
addiction. I mean,
Tomato, potato.
he's out of
They kind of go hand in hand usually.
yeah. But I mean, he's supposedly clean and sober now, which is pretty cool. So good for him. I just don't know if. Well, I'm sure Sony would probably bring him back, and
Come on.
I know he would do it in a heartbeat. But
Yeah. I hope they do.
yeah,
Fucking A. I mean, I could talk about this movie all day. It was so good. There were so many little tiny cameos and things and hidden little gems throughout this whole movie that we could go on and on and on. I literally could. I have a
Yeah.
million things already going through my brain, and I want to keep talking about it. I'm not ending it right now. I'm just saying, fuck, man. Like, it was so good. Like, you guys got to go watch this movie.
Well, let's
Um,
get kind of to the cliffhanger just for time's sake.
yeah.
But seriously, go watch the movie if you
hmm
haven't. If you're still listening, like, hope we didn't give away too much.
It's your own fault,
But
but
also,
yeah.
I don't think we gave away any like major plot things that weren't
We're
already
about.
shown in the trailer. Yeah, we're
I
about
was like,
to.
but we're about to.
So it's mentioned and told to Miles that he should he was never supposed to become Spider-Man.
hmm
That the spider that bit him came through a portal because of the particle collider
The Collider, yeah, in the first movie.
from the first one, and it bites him. So the spider that bites him is from a different universe.
Which was meant for a different Spider-Man, a
A
variation of
different,
Peter
yeah, a
Parker.
different Peter Parker. Yeah,
So Miles, which is why his name is different than Peter Parker. Peter Parker, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
is
and I mean,
Miles.
there's still like Jessica Drew and Gwen Stacy, but like those have been well established characters. I mean,
Mm,
Miles Morales wasn't even created until what 2010, 2011. Um,
go look it up.
yeah, I think it was like 2010 ish is when Miles Morales was created um, as a character. But so he was never supposed to be Spider Man, and that's also kind of the same in the comics. Like it was never supposed to happen to him.
hmm
But also the way that they send like the anomalies home from like the giant spider tower headquarters is that they have a machine that reads their DNA and then triangulates their universe and sends them home. He gets sent back to the wrong universe because of the spider's DNA.
Hold on, hold on. Bookmark that.
Yeah.
I just we got to talk about real quick. Just the scene of all every Spider-Man chasing Miles Morales,
Yeah.
and he bodies every single one of them.
Yeah.
Everyone. Miles has only been Spider-Man for a little over a year. These spider people have been Spider-Man for years and years. He beats the shit. I mean, not like fisticuffs, but like whether it's outsmarting them, webbing them up, or electrocuting them, or however the hell he had to do it,
Mm-hmm.
he beat every single one of them, including Miguel O'Hara, who is like the leader of this fucking weird ass spider group.
And clearly the
And
biggest beefcake.
yeah, he's huge,
Yeah.
and his like physique is pretty big too. And sorry,
Dong.
I'm sorry.
Dong.
But then, so there's a part in the movie where Miles is like taking on all these like spider people, and uh we get Jake Johnson as Peter B. Parker again,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, I don't think Miles has a plan. And then Miles like leads all of these spider people away from the facility where he can get into the machine to go back to his home, which is where you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm looping back.
No, I know
But
where you're going with it.
okay. And then there's a part where Miguel and Miles are like fighting on this like it's on its way to the moon,
Yeah,
right?
it's like a train or subway that goes to the moon.
Yeah, and Miguel is like on top of him, and they're getting hot and sweaty. And no, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. And but he like whispers in his ear, and he's like, "You were never supposed to be." That wasn't a joke. That
Yeah.
just came out weird.
Yeah.
He whispers in his ear, he's like, "You were never supposed to be Spider-Man. You don't belong here." Blah blah blah. And Miles is like, well, I lured hundreds of your spider people away from your facility, and guess what? Hey. And he does the hey and like zaps him and then fucking yeets himself out of there. Um and then goes to that machine and sends himself home. But I just thought it was very cool because and then Peter B. Parker even says
Well, look
like
how he did have a plan.
I guess he did have a plan the whole time. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was very cool. And anyways, go back to what you were saying. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but
No,
there was
that
just a chunk there that
yeah.
I felt like needed to be mentioned. It was
So
he
he
beat
wasn't
up
sent
every
home
Spider-Man.
by them. He tricked them so he could send himself home,
Hmm.
which was cool. And then he gets zapped back home. He's in his bedroom, sees his mom, and you think that it's finally happening where he's going to tell them. And it's kind of like going like side by side. Like Gwen is like outside of his apartment.
Yeah.
And it makes it seem like she's watching him as he's about to admit that he's Spider-Man to his mom, and it turns out that it's not his mom. He
I mean, it's his mom, but
well,
it's
yeah,
not.
but she's like, Spider-Man, what's that? Like, and he like follows her out of his room into the hallway and is like trying to like talk to her, and his uncle Aaron walks past him, and we know from Into the Spider-Verse, Uncle Aaron dies.
Mhm.
And then it clicks for him that the spider that bit him was from a different universe. So he got sent back to the universe from the spider's DNA, not from his.
Mhm. And then you kind of get a cool, sorry, you kind of get a cool uh moment where Gwen is in Miles's room, and
Mm-hmm.
then you see that she also realizes it
Mm-hmm.
that he's not where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then
Keep going.
what? Oh, I was gonna say. And then what happens when Miles follows his uncle to the rooftop?
Oh, so good. Very few movies. I don't know. You guys, most of our listeners don't know me very personally. I'm really good at guessing movies.
It's
I
kind of
do it.
annoying sometimes.
I do it to an annoying point, and this movie got me twice. Uh, One was the moment you just mentioned where Miles realizes he's in the wrong universe, and I was like, "Oh, that's dope." The other moment is that his uncle Aaron is like they make a very very small mention where his mom when he in that moment where he's about to reveal himself to his mom, uh
Zip.
she says, what did you do to your hair?" And he's like, "Oh, it's whatever, blah blah blah." And then he runs into Uncle Aaron, and Uncle Aaron's like, "Come on, we gotta go on the roof for whatever." And he follows him up there.
And he
And
and Uncle Aaron also says, like, why'd you take your braids out?
yeah. And then he glitches in the stairwell, and Uncle Aaron like turns around and looks at him, and he goes, "Yeah, all right?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm fine. I just don't feel very good. I have a cold," I think he says.
Yeah.
But Uncle Aaron definitely saw him glitch.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And so he goes up to the roof, and he gets fucking knocked out. But he realizes that there's like fire, and just a shit universe. It's basically
Yeah, because there's
America.
no Spider-Man.
Uh, yeah, there's no Spider-Man. Yeah, there's no Obama, and there's no Spider-Man in in this universe. And he Miles realizes it, and he gets knocked out. And then they show him tied up, and Uncle Aaron is like working on like his claw for the Prowler suit, and Miles goes, "Hey man, like you don't have to do this. You don't have to be the Prowler." And Uncle Aaron says, "I'm not." And he throws the claw like to somebody who like drops down. And who is it, Chad?
It's Miles.
It's Miles.
It's
It's
this
so dope.
universe's Miles.
Oh my God, it's so dope.
And that's kind of where it ends. I mean, Gwen is trying to track down where Miles ended up, gets the old band back together, plus a couple more like
Yep.
Spider-Man India. Um, oh, I forgot what
And
they.
Jake Johnson, Peter B. I mean, she picks up uh India Spider-Man. I don't know. Is like Picard. Fucking
Uh, Pakar Patil or something like that.
so. No, I think that's very wrong.
Oh,
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. You keep. What are the
okay.
other ones?
Then obviously like Spider-Man with Peter B. Parker, Jake Johnson, Spider-Man Noir, Spider Ham, uh, Yuri, uh,
It's.
Penny,
I'm gonna
Penny and
butcher
Yuri.
this. It's Paviter
Paviter.
Prabhakar.
Okay. You
You
should.
watch us on YouTube. Can't see that, so you're fucked. Anyways, uh, it's will whatever. We'll put it in the
Yeah.
tagline or something. But yeah,
Um, so all of them plus Spider-Man India, and then I forget what they called her, but she's basically like,
the pregnant one.
no, she's not part of that group. She's still.
She's gonna be though.
Oh yeah, she definitely
Oh
is.
yeah,
No, but the Avatar like digital girl that is literally just
yeah,
like a VR headset.
mm, yeah. I forget her name too. I
Um,
could look it up, but I don't want to.
yeah. I can find it. What did they call? Oh god, it doesn't even show the full name. Hang on. I remember the actress. Uh, Amanda Stenberg is who voices her. Spider Bite, but
But
Byte because she's all digital.
yeah, like a terabyte.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
And then that's kind of where it ends.
They're
There's
going
no
to
end credit scenes.
Yeah. Which was a bummer. That was kind of a bummer. But yeah.
It makes sense though.
It was cool though because we don't we know that Gwen and the other spider people, they don't know where Miles is. They
Yeah.
just have an idea of where he could be.
Yeah.
And that's what Gwen says. She's like, I have an idea where to start looking for him. And I have a theory I told you about before we started. There's a very cool scene where our Miles, is tied up, and the Prowler scene, blah blah blah, and we find out that Miles is the Prowler in this universe. I think that he's going to do a Nebula bullshit from Endgame, and I think the Miles that is the Prowler is going to cut his hair to look like our Miles and then infiltrate our spider people.
Yeah.
I think so.
I
I
can
could
see
be
that
wrong,
happening.
but because I just don't otherwise, what's the point of like that being the big cliffhanger? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, just that he's trapped in the wrong universe and
yeah,
glitching, which could
but the,
eventually kill him.
yeah, but I just think that I think it's gonna be. I could be wrong. I
Yeah.
hope I'm wrong. I love when I'm wrong. This movie made me wrong twice. I love
Yeah.
that. That makes me happy. When movies fucking trick me into some shit, I'm just like, dude, this movie was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I did not see that coming. That as a moviegoer, avid moviegoer, I love that shit. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this movie's so good, guys. Please, we got to be done talking about it because we've been on it forever. But
Yeah.
fucking hell, I can't wait.
Go
We
check it out.
don't have to wait too long for it. It's
Like 9 months?
March 29th, 2024. The movie is already done. I assume they have like editing and some voicing voiceovers to do still. But the movie is done already.
Yeah.
So we don't even have to wait a year for this movie.
Yeah. It's in post production, basically. They're
Oh.
they're cleaning it up.
I
And,
totally lost track of time watching it. And
yeah.
I was like, ooh, it's getting good. Shit's about to go down. And then it was like,
And
to be continued. And I was like, oh, that's right.
fuck.
It's a two-part finale. That sucks. I was very mad. I could have
It
sat
was
there.
weird because Jake brought a folding table with him to set up in front of him so he could flip it when that happened. It
Yeah,
was
and I did. And I did. Yeah.
only hit like 2 or 3 small children.
Yeah. Fuck those kids. I would have sat there for 5 hours to finish that movie if that was the
When
case. Like
part 2 is out and you can stream them, I'm going to watch them back to back.
all three of them. Oh, we'll do a Spider-Man party.
Can live
We'll do
stream
it.
it. People
I'm
can
down.
watch us watch the movie and talk about it
Well,
and drink.
it just yeah, we'll figure something out. But yeah, oh my God, please go watch this movie. If you're a nerd or you want to be a nerd and you don't know how, go watch this. Please, please, please. And listen to our podcast because we'll show you.
Yeah, absolutely. We will teach you the ways of the nerd. All right,
I
let's.
got a pretty solid book though.
Yeah. With
If you
on
haven't
that
noticed.
note, let's go ahead and close out this episode.
But before we do, we're gonna close out this episode. And Chad, what are your honorable mentions?
Well, I think I'll let you mention one of them because we both have been watching that and it just ended. But I've been working my way through Star Wars Rebels in anticipation for the Ahsoka show coming out later this year. I finished season 3 this morning, a little bit before we started talking, and then I just have season 4, which is what's the final season. I don't want it to end. It's so good. I like it way more than the Clone Wars TV show, which I gave up on like halfway through. So that's probably also why, because it was just all the same at the very beginning. And then also I started watching Narcos on Netflix. I'd been meaning to, and then you started watching it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to start watching it because then we can talk about it. Not on this podcast, just
We're both very late to the party on this show.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is
But it's
so fucking
so
good.
fucking good.
I'm
It's
still on
so
season 1. I'm only like halfway through it.
I'm also I have one episode left. I have the season finale of season one.
Okay.
So I'm not much further than you. But God damn it. Pedro Pascal, Boyd Holbrook. I mean, as like
Oh, I forgot
like
to look up the guy's name that
that plays Pablo.
Yeah. Because also, like, normally he does not. Like, he put on weight for that role. Like, he's
Yeah.
actually a very good looking man.
He's still good like I'm whatever, like whatever. He's still very good looking in the
Yeah.
show. He there whatever. I don't want to talk about it. But
Wagner Mora is his name.
yeah. Pedro Pascal and Boyd Holbrook, if you know who those two are, they are they're the cops, they're partners trying to take down Pablo Escobar. And it is so brutal. I mean, I know Pablo Escobar is a bad guy, like, but I didn't know how bad of a guy he was until I watched this show. Because this isn't a dramatization of what happened. This is like historically what happened, and
If anything, they
show
probably toned some of it down.
they show like actual footage and stuff like that in this show to like bring it to a very real place, and it's brutal. He was a monster.
Yeah.
Monster. Yeah, it's real bad. And we're only Chad and I are only in season one. There's 3 seasons of Narcos, and then there's 3 seasons of Narcos Mexico, which is after Pablo Escobar escaped to Mexico. So there's 6 seasons. Seasons? Six? Yeah. 6 seasons of this show. Go watch it. It's really fucking
I'm
good.
really curious as to how they're gonna make it into like 6 seasons because the first
Keep
season goes
watching.
from
Keep watching.
79 to 1989, and Pablo Escobar died in 93.
Keep watching.
So I'm assuming that the first half of this season was just like building, and
I
then
think
now it's going to be like,
it's just like his ramp up. Because
yeah,
like the first season so far has been like he was like a smuggler. He
for
wasn't
like
that.
cigarettes
Yeah, and he was like one like
and
uh
weed and stuff like that.
DVD like DVDs and
Electronic, yeah.
yeah, he wasn't. And then he makes a run for president. And then it gets,
Congress.
huh? No, he makes a run for president.
Oh, after the whole Congress thing?
You'll see.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, and then he just like starts like mass murdering people. Like
Yeah.
if anyone opposes him as president, dead.
Mm.
It's yeah. Uh, there's a part, and I'm sorry to ruin anything for you. There's like a part where he brings down he brings down an entire plane with a bomb. Like 107 people died to kill
Jesus.
one person, and that one person wasn't even on that plane.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's a piece of
Wild.
shit. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good show. That's probably the best honorable mention. But I have a couple. What were my couple? I
They're
got
both
so
on Apple
sucked in.
TV Plus.
I got so sucked into that I just like totally lost myself. Platonic on Apple TV with Seth Rogen, Rose Byrne. Uh, I watched the first two episodes of it this morning. It's a very funny. I really like it. I don't want to give anything too much away, but it was really good. Check that out. And the Ted Lasso series finale was last week. We didn't talk about it because we didn't have an episode last week. But the show is over after 3 seasons. It was bittersweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had emotional moments.
It was very happy, sad, funny, hopeful moments that didn't come through.
But a lot of like tiebacks to like season one, like
Hmm.
full arc character development, which
Hmm.
was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a fun show. I will probably within the year I will go back and rewatch all three to just binge it and
Yeah.
watch it again. Yeah. Such a fun show. Yeah. I mean, Jason Sudeikis, I've been a huge fan of for a very long time, and this is your like acting like pinnacle moment
Yeah.
for me. For me, I'm not saying it is your moment, but for me, I'm like this is the role. You know,
Yeah.
every actor or actress has that movie or show or whatever performance that you're like, God damn,
Yeah.
like there you go. You brought it to the table, you know. Uh, this was that for me with Sudeikis.
Yeah. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, but if you like what we're doing here, what should everyone do, Jake?
Give us your money. Show me the money.
Yeah, and there's a couple ways to do that. The most consistent and most helpful option, and the thing that gets you the most, in our opinion, would be to go to buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. It's a monthly subscription. You can choose how much to give, and you get more and more things the more you give. But either way, you get access to behind the scenes, early announcements for upcoming stuff, as well as, um, you know, private chats with us, or like a invite only group chat with us, and all sorts of stuff is on top of member exclusive merch, which is pretty dope. If you don't want to do that, I mean, kind of lame, but you can always go to just allthingsnerdpodcast.com. That's where we have our merch store, so you can do like a one-time sort of payment and still get something for it, which is pretty cool. We've got a lot on there. We have some new summer stuff coming out. We have some Pride merch as well. Now that it's June, that's up on there for everyone. Yeah, and it's pretty great. If you don't want to give us your money, again, let me reiterate, lame. But we get it. That's not for everyone. But if you like, share, subscribe, follow us on social media, all those things, it just helps. It really does. I know everyone says that, but it really does, because algorithms and shit. But yeah. Other than that, any parting words, Jake?
Bye.
Okay, cool. Bye.
No, I'm just kidding. This has been the All Things Nerd podcast. Cheers. We love you guys.